Hey everybody out there, Chris and Mike here, and welcome back to another Dark Avenger Comic Book review. And in this video, we are going through the books that were released from DC Comics on the week of May 28, 2014.
Yep.
And we got a lot of books this week from DC, and some books were average, some books were a little bit under par. Nothing really, oh my god. So let's start with the digital first book. And that is Adventures of Superman, issue number 13. This is the definitive Superman book. If you are a true Superman fan from Superman back in the day, if you want the legacy behind the Man of Steel, this is the book for you. The true Superman book is Adventures of Superman. I say it each and every month it comes out. And the book has yet to disappoint, honestly, minus a couple of hiccups. I believe in issue 2 and 3. This issue is, again, Superman versus Metallo. I feel like either it's Metallo or Brainiac. At least they showed other supervillains throughout this. So the story here is a reporter from the Daily Star, oh god. I want to see. Anyway, before I find his name, he's trying to figure out where Superman's from, and he keeps seeing that every time Superman fights a supervillain, it ends up in front of the Daily Planet, or it's on the Daily Planet's feed. So he thinks that Superman is a stunt that the Daily Planet cooked up, and basically he's just too good to be true anyway, which basically everybody at some point thinks that. Here we go. Carl Hobson. So he actually talks with Clark a little bit about how he believes that Superman is connected to the planet. It's all a stunt just to keep the planet's ratings up.
Right.
And he actually goes to where was it? A maximum security prison. He questions Toyman. He questions Terra Man, he questions the Atomic Skull, and then he questions Metallo, who basically rigs an escape.
Well, Metallo looks very monstrous.
Yeah, I like the design for Metallo in this book.
Yeah.
So he takes Hobson, and he escapes. Superman ends up showing up at the prison, knocks all the prisoners out. Bizarro's there for some weird reason. He's a prisoner. And he finds out that Metallo had escaped. Metallo he fought in the beginning of the issue.
Right.
So he follows Hobson's little clue that he left behind inadvertently, saves Hobson, and instead of the story being about Superman being the Daily Planet's creation, he says the day Superman saved my life while I tried to ruin his. It was a really good story. It focused around Superman, but it was on a person who was trying to ruin Superman's life, so to speak, or try to get down to where Superman originally came from, believing that he was basically just a stunt that the Daily Planet concocted, because the Daily Planet was always on top of all Superman news.
Right.
Really quickly, Larfleeze issue 11. It's Larfleeze versus the gods. At this point, the only reason why I'm even wasting my time with this is because next month's issue, as this book claims, and it is true, is the last issue. That's really it. I have nothing else to add to Larfleeze at this point.
Okay. Here's a book that really was a little...
Your book's being canceled too.
Yeah, All-Star Western, or Jonah Hex, issue number 31. Again, DC. Do we really need a Madam Point 44 comic in this story? This is the second time they did this, and the story...
Told you, and this is when you dropped it last time.
Yeah, and the story just keeps getting less and less. I don't really just understand, like, you know, I mean, if it wasn't going to be canceled, if they did this again, I probably would have dropped it for the second time. So basically, Jonah Hex and, her name escapes me at the moment. basically, they run into trouble with these gang members who we saw a few issues back. Here's some artwork. It's a guy and a girl, Romeo and Demita, and they just want to take out, Jonah Hex because of what happened in the issues where they took the gold with Booster Gold, and now they want to get their revenge on them. So both of them take them out, and then there's a sheriff who comes in, and he just talks about, that he knows of Jonah Hex because he heard his name being said. And you know how they're saying, oh, you're not Jonah Hex because he had the burn face and all that other stuff? And apparently the sheriff knows that he is a wanted man. A wanted man, actually.
I was going to say he's a man, not a man.
I meant man. And that's to be continued. So this might be going in a direction. And now onto Man Point 44 and the other side. I'm going to just make it briefly. This story. Basically, she, I can't even remember her name because I didn't really really care about it. She's just looking for this guy named Kerberos, who is the keeper of maps and all that, and she just wants to kill him because he's like the all powerful. And here's some artwork. And the gang of his warns him that she's, going to ride into town to kill him. So he sets off everybody to kill her, since he won't come straight forward. And basically, that's really it. She was just looking for him, where these two people told her all about Kerberos and everything else about him, and I put this down and I said, no, I am not interested in Man Point 44. I know it's getting canceled, but can we stop with the nonsense with the story?
We only have 3 months to go.
No, but it's not necessary. Why? It has nothing to connect with All-Star Western. Because it's a totally different, situation and everything, and no. So, if it's saying end question mark, let's hope it's the official end, because I would like to read a story that's this long and instead of this short.
Red Lanterns, issue number 31, or basically the continuation of what happened last week in Supergirl, issue 31. So the Red Lanterns are trying to figure out a way to break the judge, or to get the judge into the blood from Yasmal, in order to clear her mind. And in the beginning of this issue, actually, the Red Lantern judge actually judges Atrocitus. And while she does deem him a monster, she said his ways, he feels, are righteous and true. And she doesn't declare him innocent, but she doesn't declare him guilty either. Supergirl gets very reckless with not only being a Red Lantern, but it's Supergirl. Let's face it, the only reason I'm reading Supergirl right now is because she's a Red Lantern. And she takes the blood off the ship, breaks it up, and it comes down like rain, and Atrocitus is on the planet. He apparently has the ability to manipulate the blood, and Supergirl tries to help out again, against Guy Gardner's orders, and it fails again. And then basically Bleach just slaps the crap out of her and says, control yourself. You may be a Red Lantern, but you need to grow up. And Guy Gardner actually cools Supergirl down, and they actually together stop the Atrocitus' control of the blood. Atrocitus has Rancor and says unless Guy Gardner and his Red Lanterns let him and the judge leave the planet, Rancor won't be anymore. And the judge actually says, no, I don't wish to stay behind. I don't know who Rancor is, but I don't care. I don't know both sides, so I can't make a judgment. Oh boy, we're going to have lots of judge jokes, aren't we? Anyway, The judge actually ends up leaving, spoiler alert, with Guy Gardner, and Guy Gardner and Atrocitus actually have a little bit of a face-to-face, and the issue ends with Guy Gardner saying, we gotta go get Rancor back, and that's where it's left off. We'll see next month where this continues in Supergirl, since Supergirl right now is literally umbilically connected to Red Lanterns anyway.
Is she gonna ever snap out of that Red Lantern? Oh, thank you, God.
Probably by September.
Oh, what a way to snap out of it.
Alright, let's do this. Why not? The Flash, issue number 31. We still have the Flash in the future, traveling back in time. As a matter of fact, Barry travels back in time to an incident that Mirror Master did, where he trapped a bunch of people in mirrors, and then there was, not a bunch, he trapped one person in a mirror, and an earthquake hit, and millions of people died. So Barry went back in time, stopped at that moment. Basically, as he's traveling backwards in time, he's correcting certain moments in time, and this was actually one of them. And the only thing that's weird is Barry left Mirror Master behind, and Mirror Master ended up, spoiler alert, dying, because he was in the midst of all the mirrors, and they came crashing down on him, basically stabbing him to death. While in the present, Barry's still trying to figure out who stole all the the weapons that were used by not only what do you call it, the well, he figures out that it might be gang related, and Mongo and oh god, the Black Mole, I think it was. Yeah, Mold. The Black Mold. They think that it's the Black Mold, but Barry says it's probably this gang who stole all the Black Mold stuff, because the Black Mold is still in jail. And time is still ever so slightly slipping away. Wally is a punk kid that I'm really not liking in the New 52, but I guess the whole development of Wally's character will be as the book continues forward. I am interested in seeing what this whole hole in the Speed Force is, or screw up in the Speed Force is, and how Barry is actually getting propelled. You know, his super speed isn't exactly super speed anymore. He's moving at regular pace, if not he's slower. He's losing time, so I'm looking forward to seeing where all this ends up. I mean, and we have future Barry looking to travel back in time to kill himself. Interesting stuff. Next, we got He-Man and Masters of the Universe.
Yes, well, He-Man and Masters of the Universe, issue number 13, the prelude to the Blood of Grayskull, and it's the origin of She-Ra in this comic book. This was a very interesting issue. Talks about, like, you know, how He-Man was, this page was just really amazing. The artwork was a little bit sketchy, but not as bad, really.
I like the artwork.
Yeah, like I said, it was a little bit sketchy, but it's not as bad, really. And after the war of what was happening, He-Man, you know, toasted to the power of Grayskull, and you know, there's this whole thing where Teela asked, what's her name, the Queen, about the vision, if she's told He-Man about what's to come and everything, and she hasn't told him yet. This Lord Adi, or AD, ADI, is coming up with a plan.
I don't like He-Man with the long hair like that, where he has like two braids, like two pigtails going down the side of his head. The two sides of his head. I don't like that.
I guess, I don't know, I think it makes him look more Viking-like. But anyway, Lord Aldi comes up with a evil plan, whereas He-Man just talks about the sword and how it triumphed on everything. And then there's a scene here also where Lord Aldi talks to Siren, and if you want to know what it is, read the book. But basically, he wants her to kill He-Man.
Who didn't see that coming?
But for what reason, I don't want to give it away. You'll have to read the book. So as the bell rang, everything is burning down and everything. Along with the Queen telling He-Man before that something about the future. Can't remember what she said. Like basically, there will be a future war between two of your own blood. One that brings destruction and one that will fight back. So Siren drugs He-Man, and then that happens. And yeah, that's to be continued. I mean, it kind of gave the origin of She-Ra in some ways.
He's even holding Mjolnir. It looks like Thor.
Yeah, the owner of the hammer. It was very interesting. The story was also interesting, and can't wait to see what's gonna happen. I mean, the sword's got to bring him back to life, because the sword is the only thing that, you know, might do that. But who knows? We'll have to find out.
Continuing with the interesting Doom story, we have Superman issue 31 without the Doom logo, but it is Doom. Superman, at his own will, allows Lex Luthor to, not imprison him, but lock him up for his own good, to do some testing to figure out if there's even a way to save Superman. And there's a bunch of people, and Superman is really, he's half doomsdaying out. You got Batman on it, Cyborg, Ray Palmer, who's the Atom. You got Shea Veritas and Lex Luthor. All the brilliant minds basically are trying to figure out how to save Superman. He's starting to expel what was it called, the Doomsday Effect, which means people won't be able to be around him, especially machinery. Superman makes a request to see one person, and that is Lois. And Superman kind of looks demented in this book, if you ask me. And let's not forget, Lois is still control, being controlled by Brainiac. So he asked for an audience with Lois so that Lois can write the article about how Superman's dangerous and can't be trusted, maybe never again. And then, of course, the Brainiac part, or inside of Lois, basically goes into Superman's brain and has Superman basically escape to help out the Teen Titans and show how dangerous he really is. So Brainiac is definitely in play here also. And yeah, things look very bleak for Superman by the end of this issue. And then it says in the next chapter we have Enemy of the State in Action Comics issue number 32. Superman is definitely in trouble, but again, this whole Doomsday Spore thing, I don't know what, see where it goes, but obviously Brainiac's going to have a major role in this by the end of this story arc, or whatever you want to consider this. Again, it's very interesting, but very weird at the same time. Nightwing's final issue. Not only does it introduce the awfully imagined or recreated Huntress, but we have Dick. Now, this was a good book, not a great book. It was good. But you have Batman fighting Dick in this book. He wants to send Dick off on a mission, and apparently this group called the Spiral, I believe, they want to unmask all the superheroes, find out all their secrets, and basically take them out. But before he can send Dick in, he has to test him. He has to make sure that he's still, he hasn't been broken by the crime syndicate. And most of this book is just that. Dick versus Batman. And Dick is saying, I can't do this, I won't hurt my family. And Batman's basically ignoring him and telling him all about Spiral and how dangerous they are and how Dick needs to do this. And in the end, basically, Batman figures out that Dick isn't broken, Dick is stronger than ever. And in the end, basically, Dick realizes that, yeah, this is what I have to do right now. And then it jumps to Tokyo, Japan, and a few other places where Dick shows up here, there, and everywhere. And finally, at the end of the issue, he ends up joining Huntress in Spiral. Spiral basically has a mission for Dick. They know that Nightwing is alive, and they basically want him. So it all leads into Grayson issue number 1, which I believe is coming out next month or July. So I guess we'll see what happens next in Dick Grayson's life in Grayson. I hope that he comes back to being Nightwing, but I highly doubt it unless the New 52 gets erased, which that'd be a really good thing, wouldn't it? Batman 31. The plan is Batman, Luke Fox, and Lieutenant at this moment in time, Jim Gordon, need to find out where Riddler is. They know he's in the city, they just can't figure out where. And Batman wants Luke to trace where Riddler is, and the only way to do that is through the transmission he does once a day. The artwork, Greg Capullo's artwork, is second to none awesome. And basically, Batman goes up against Riddler to try to... Basically, all Batman has to do is keep Riddler on the air for at least 19 minutes. And, spoiler alert, he successfully does that, but let's just say he has to fight a bunch of lions, a bunch of cars, and he basically tries to give Riddler a bit of a riddle, and it doesn't work. So Batman gets a lot thrown at him in this issue, but long story short, basically, they know where Riddler is now, and there's also a little connection to Bruce's past. At this point, I feel like we've been in 0 year for so long that I'm so glad the next issue is the Pendulum issue, and then the issue after that we're done. Because I can't with 0 year anymore. I really want to see Batman back in the present day at this point. So 0 year is kind of like slowly really not doing anything for me anymore. I mean, Batman Eternal had a slow pace for a while, but 0 year just feels like it's dragging. And I can't take it much longer. Go.
Justice League Dark, issue number 31. Which we saw from last issue that Nightmare Nurse is not Nightmare Nurse anymore. She is actually Alice Winter.
A naked woman who floats around in space.
Well, I'm not going to show the page. Basically, she says that...
Naked woman.
Yeah. So she basically says that the nurse...
In space.
Are you done? That the nurse who was before was a monster that actually controlled her body. Stop it, man.
I didn't say anything!
So basically, she asks Justice League Dark Team, you have to help to help her so that way the monster doesn't control her again. And it shows here. The artwork's fantastic, by the way. As always. And Zatanna goes, and it's basically the origin of Alice before she became a Nightmare Nurse. And there was a maid named, I think, Asa, because it's, Nurse Asa. And she's a demon. No. And she attacks Zatanna. And Zatanna takes over. Oh, I'm not gonna show.
Is there any John Constantine here?
I was just gonna get to that.
Oh, really? Wow, good job.
Yeah. And basically, if you want to know more about the story behind the whole monster thing of Nightmare Nurse, you can definitely read the comic book. Then we get into John Constantine, where he's drunk and partying and doing his stuff, being a drunk, of course. And he gets into the, I think it's the In-Betweener, or the Between, actually, where, this is Nurse Asa, who just tells him that, that she's the real her beneath this pretend skin, and her consciousness forced her out. And John Constantine just says, I have 2 words for you, just... Well, he doesn't say get lost, he says something
Piss
else.
off. That's what the British people do.
I was trying to say it in a nice way, but yeah. And then it just goes back to, just so many things that happen in this comic book. And then we get Swamp Thing. That's a little bit in action, where he pictures everything as the green and stuff like that. And he just wants to know what the House of Mystery really wants. Like, what its agenda is. Like, he just wants to know how it's doing everything. And the way Constantine and real Nightmare Nurse, you know, how they were trying to get out of the Between alive, which they did. Let's just say that after that, you know, like I'm trying to, like there's a little bit of a fight scene between Constantine and Swamp Thing. Looks a little different in this panel, actually. In this panel,
looks like Man-Thing.
yeah, like right here in this panel. And I just don't want to give too much away, and he's just saying to her that, like, Constantine's like trying to say that it's going to get worse, and sure enough it has. Now Zatanna, along with the monster of the Asa, is like saying, Z's not home, just call me Asa, in Zatanna's body.
Great.
So now, Zatanna is now with this, I'm like, although it was a little bit interesting though, which is why I gave this Book of the Week from DC Comics, so something to look into. I mean, if I missed out a few things, I've read so many books this week, so apologies if...
We read a lot of books this week between the two.
Yeah, there were a lot of books this week, but I would recommend you would read the book yourself, just see more of the story and how it develops, and
Alright,
enjoy it.
before we continue, we have 2 more books left. We're just going to quickly change the camera, so hold tight and we will be back in just literally a second. Alright, and we're back, and we got the last 2 books, which are the 2 weekly series. First we have the New 52, Futures End, issue number 4. I don't care about Frankenstein in this book, even though it's going to have something to do with something with Shade. I don't care about Amethyst becoming a member of Shade and half of her face being missing.
Yeah, it's been focusing on those 2, basically.
I'm just not a fan, and we get to see Ray Palmer, and it turns out they have to go through the Phantom Zone. We then jump to Tim Drake for most of the rest of the issue, where his name is Cal. And he's dating this girl, and he wants to forget all about his past, and then he sees an image of Batman Beyond. And his only comment is, another chunk of beef to be rammed through Bruce's meat grinder. We got these, I don't know if they're Z-list supervillains, or they're these villains that want to pull some type of a heist. This is the last heist they're going to pull. We have Grifter looking for extraterrestrials, or killing some extraterrestrials. And then Faraday finds him and basically paralyzes him. And the only way to unparalyze himself is to work for Faraday. So, interesting stuff. But all in all, I just feel it was a very quick read, especially for me. The Tim Drake part was the most interesting part in this book. And of course you have Lois Lane, who is tailing our Red Robin, Tim Drake. So we'll see where that goes at some point. I'm more interested in Lois Lane and Tim Drake than basically the rest of this book. I'm actually more eager to see what's going to happen with Firestorm in the next issue. So it was an average book at best, but I don't know. I'm not feeling Futures End as much as I am Batman Eternal. Which, speaking of which, Batman Eternal issue number 8, Batman sends a message to Falcone. Basically, he takes out about 8 or 9 jobs, or 8 or 9 things that his gang is up to. He screws about 8 or 9 heists, or chances for Carmine Falcone to make money, and he sends a message to Carmine saying it's just the beginning. So Carmine gets pissed off. He calls Commissioner Forbes and says, we need to send a message to Batman tonight. Bruce is trying to figure out why Carmine Falcone chose now to come back, and he figured out that he was also a crime boss in Japan. So he's saying, I might want to look into that. I'm going to skip the middle. It turns out somebody tried to kill Stephanie Brown again. Or obviously it was her parents, but she narrowly escaped death with in this situation. Vicky Vale makes an appearance. Batman shows up. I love the artwork, especially towards the end of the book. But Forbes basically calls Batman to the top of the Gotham City Police Department, basically to say that either surrender or there's gonna be consequences, and you have Jason Bard, who was handpicked by Commissioner Gordon to take his place, to take the lieutenant of the GCPD's place. Basically, he's the only one right now on the Gotham City Police Department that's on Batman's side right now, that's willing to fight for Batman in the shadows. But Bruce actually ends up leaving Gotham for a while and showing up in Hong Kong, China. Sorry, it wasn't Japan, it was China that Carmine Falcone was hiding out in and basically making lots of money and building his own little crime underworld. So Batman's going to look into what Carmine Falcone was up to in China. So we'll see where the next issue goes, but this definitely was the strongest of the 2 weekly series right now. I really liked it, loved the artwork in this book, and it's nice to see that Jason Bard is actually on Batman's side.
Yep.
Through and through. So Batman at least has some allies still in the GCPD, and I cannot wait, guys, until Forbes, or Commissioner Forbes, gets not only knocked off of commissioner duty, but we get to see him thrown in jail where Commissioner Gordon is, or even better, we get to see him fall off a building to his, well, you fill in the shadow space here, but can't wait to see Forbes get knocked down from whatever high horse he's at and either end up in jail where Commissioner Gordon is and Gordon gets out and becomes commissioner again, or we just see Forbes just completely get wiped out once and for all, because I couldn't stand him from the moment he was introduced. I know, I couldn't stand him from the moment he was introduced in Batman pre-New 52. So with that, guys, that's it for this week's comic book review for DC Comics. Feel free to leave comments below, like, dislike, agree, disagree, recommendations, your own comments, what you guys thought of these books, and your comments will be heard this Friday on the weekly comic book haul. Recaps should be coming up here, there, and everywhere. I know TMNT we are going to be filming soon. That might actually go up before this video even. And also Star Wars is in the making, Transformers, I'm going to be doing the show with Brand soon. And then me and Mike will be doing Zenoscope really soon also after I finish reading a couple of books. Speaking of which, don't forget to check out Comic Related, Comic Frontline, and Zone4Podcast.com. Together we are your #1 source for comic related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. And until next time, everybody, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and we will see you guys in the next review.
Later, everybody.